Things in the classified ad department got a bit more exciting, and we got more company when Austin Hallworth, who became the field sales manager with Sue Houghton, who was, I think, his first recruit, and then Sue Hedges, who joined to be telephone sales manager. Our department started to take on more substance, and I would think date-wise that was pretty close to launch. I would say it was probably October, November, 1986. Um, Now, Sue Hedges is a very energetic, enthusiastic salesperson. She just the sun shines out of her, and I think she needed that to be able to launch what was, looking back on it, a really difficult section of the newspaper to get established. I mean, classified advertising is a marketplace, and for that you need people to come through the marketplace. And obviously, as we were growing, we had no idea of how many people were actually looking at the pages thoroughly. And also, we had to reach out to the advertising community. Unfortunately, there were some people in the advertising community who had been rejected by other newspapers. And so one of our first jobs in classified was to, if you like, do due diligence on some of the more snake oil salesman type classified advertising. These days, we'll all be familiar with the emails that pop in asking us for various different potions and lotions and web design and various things. But in those days, it was a little bit more oblique, selling products and services that really we wouldn't have wanted our readers to have been exposed to. Sue ran our department with a rod of iron. There were several batches of intakes that she had to deal with. I was sitting in the telesales department, but I was the secretary, and I had to do a psychometric test in order to be recruited. And the psychometric test was really measuring whether you had admin skills or whether you had sales skills. And I think it was quite obvious at that time that I didn't have any admin skills. However, I did show some promise on the sales side. And so luckily I was taken in to the team, and there were about 12, 14 of us sitting in rows. And one day I remember Sue Hedges coming into the office at the end of the day, and she was really cross, and none of us could understand it. We thought we'd had a really good day. There were loads of requests for media packs. It was fantastic. But she said to us, "Do you realize how many media packs you've asked to send today?" And we were like, "Yeah, there's thousands out there." And she said, "Yeah, well, let me tell you how your conversations will have gone. You will have said, 'Hi, my name's Charlotte Hollingshead from The Independent. I was just ringing to find out if you'd like to sell your car.' And the guy on the other end of the phone would have said, 'Yeah, send me a media pack.' So I would have sent him a media pack, not selling him anything, therefore creating this huge pile of media packs with completely unqualified sales. And that was one of the best lessons I'd learnt there, because I've carried it on to this day. If people start asking for media packs, I have to ask them what exactly in the media pack it is that they want. And sure enough, you get much more information than you had before. Sue also had to contend with the launch of our ATEX system, which was effectively like giving us all, our own email, because we spent most of the day emailing each other. But we didn't realize, of course, that she could see our messages. So that was stopped pretty quickly. One of the other things I've remembered for the rest of my life that happened in that department was, obviously, I sold my first ad, and I sold it to Liz Workman, who is still very much a friend, probably more now on Facebook than face-to-face. But she bought the first ad from me, which was for a legal appointments job from Cliff and Chance. And to this day, I've never forgotten it. So thank you, Liz. That was very good of you. As the team grew in telesales, a lady called Sly Bailey joined the team as telephone sales trainer, and Sly became Sly Bailey, who ended up, well, I think she's now a director of another company, but she was chief executive of Trinity Mirror. So that was really nice to say that I was part of her career, her management training part of her career. Next, I moved into the field sales department with Austin Hallworth. And Austin was a really magnetic character. Well, he is a magnetic character. I shouldn't talk about him in the past. He is very good at bringing a team together, very good at encouraging all the people who work for him, and inspired loyalty and admiration from clients. So when people found out in the business that we worked for Austin, most of the time, 9 times out of 10, they would certainly agree to a meeting, but they would certainly pick up the calls and speak to us about this new newspaper that was launching. And I think especially because we worked for Austin. While I was in that department, I again worked with 2 or 3 other people who have since become lifelong friends. Peter Thompson, who was the deputy field sales manager and then became field sales manager, did actually do the speech for me at my wedding extremely well. Sue Latham Flynn became godparent to my daughter, and Diana Henderson became a colleague in several places that I've worked for since. And I'm really pleased that we all got together and met there. But one of the catchphrases that Austin taught us that we all remember so well is that if there was a secret or something, you know, that he needed to tell us that gave us a competitive advantage, he always sort of couched the phrase in "don't tell your flatmates." And we knew then that we mustn't go home and tell people. The joke of it probably was that I'm not sure if many of my flatmates at the time would have been particularly interested in what I would have told them. But thinking back on it now, it does remind me of, 30 years ago, we all had flatmates and we had very few financial responsibilities. So it was a good time.